Okay, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Mr. Dan. Today we're going to make at least two videos. One, I'm going to show you guys how I do my homemade flour for the pizza, the bread, and so forth. Then we're going to go into making focaccia bread. Focaccia bread's been around for a very long time. They say it was created in Italy. I'm not too sure about that, but a lot of Italians seem to have grabbed onto that loaf of bread and run with it. But it's been very popular in Greece, Spain, all those Mediterranean kind of countries. They've been using it for a long time. This recipe goes back to, I don't know, prehistoric times. I don't know. But anyway, it's a good bread, so we're going to do that. Let's make the dough first, show you guys just how easy it is, and then we'll go from there, huh? Okay, I'm going to show you, I got my stand mixer here, but you can mix it by hand, you can mix it by a dough, a whisk, whatever you want. You can use a rubber spatula, whatever you got you can do. I'm happy to do the KitchenAid. This here is going to be for my flour. I'm going to measure that, I'm going to show you. That's going to be for the hot water, not hot water, it's 100, I'm trying to get mine around 103, somewhere in there. That's for the yeast. This I'm just going to use to scoop out the flour. There's some salt, some sugar, some salt, my thermometer to check the temperature of the water, and I'm using Dasani water. I read somewhere that the chlorine messes up the yeast, but I've been using regular tap water for a long time. So anyway, I'm using the bottled water. You know, when they tell you, oh, it's in the water, that's why this pizza dough tastes better here than it does there, it's in the water. So I'm trying the water thing, all right? So let's go for it. Okay, I just took my water out of the microwave, and it's already at 115. That's a little too warm. But I don't think I got quite what I need, because my recipe that I usually follow with this is 18, 10, and 2. That's 18 ounces of flour, 10 ounces of water, and 2 ounces of yeast. So hopefully this should be believe it or not, that was a 1 cup thing, and that's 10 ounces of water in there, huh? So we'll check that again. The thing is, you don't want your, let's let that sit for a minute. You don't want your water too hot or too cold. If it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast, and if it's too cold, it makes it go dormant, and it won't poof up, you know. So we're going to get our flour ready, and what I'm doing here is I'm putting it on the scale and hit the tare button, which makes the scale say with this pot on it, it's 0. So we know exactly what we're putting in here, right? And we're putting in, I'm using bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour. You can have fun with whatever. We're going to put 18 ounces, like I said. I think it comes to 510 grams. Roughly, I think 2 1/4 cups or 2 1/2 cups. That's 12.5 there. 14. 15. Just to show you, I'm going to put this on units again. Okay, so that's not quite. So we're going to give it a little bit more. Still not there. There you go. 510 on the button. Okay. So I'm going to take that and dump that right there in my mixing bowl. Because what we're going to do is I got to add my salt to that mix. If I get this bag here closed up. I'm going to add salt to the mix, like I said. And mixing that up. Okay, so got the flour. I'm going to mix that just real slow, just to incorporate the stuff there. Let's see the temperature that we got going here. Okay, that's good. It's about 103 now. So what we're going to do is dump our yeast in there, and we're going to put some sugar in there. The reason for that is the yeast eats on the sugar, believe it or not, and that's what causes it to activate, or where it'll, they call it blooming, I think it is. And if you watch this, you give it a few minutes, it blooms up and it goes poof, gets all bubbly. I don't really need to do this part because I know the yeast is good. I've been using it, so we're just going to leave it sit there for a couple minutes. And as soon as that proofs, meaning that as soon as it blooms up, bubbles up, we're going to dump that into our mix and off to the races. Once we get that mixed up, that's how complicated this is. The hardest part we're doing this with the dough is you got to wait. You got to wait for it to rise, then you take it out, you roll it up a little bit, put it back in the pot, let it rise again, then you're able to put it on the pan, shape it whatever you want, let it rise a little bit more, then pop it in the oven. Just that's what the killer is about making the dough. Outside of that, it's fun. I like it. You get your hands in there too eventually. But it's that easy, and I tell people, they don't think, oh, you're using the pre-made dough that you get in Pillsbury. I said, no, you can get pre-made dough. You can go to a pizza shop. You can get pizza dough there. You can go to if your grocery store has a bakery, they make dough. You can buy the dough if you don't want to do this. It'll save you some time. But this is fun to me. I like it. It's easy to do. But there's all kinds of flour, there's all kinds of recipes, but generally, like here you can use the bread dough, you can use all-purpose flour, you can use double O flour, there's all kinds of stuff you can use. And depending on whether you're gluten intolerant, whatever, you can use certain doughs for that. Certain flours, I mean. Okay, so if you can see this, I don't know, let's zoom in on there. See how that's getting all foamy now? See here? It's getting all foamy. That means it's starting to activate. One day I was so amazed, the thing actually, like, when it all of a sudden went wild, it just went poof. I was like, oh man, Penn, come look at this. But yeah, it's doing its thing. Usually takes about 5-10 minutes, but you see how the foam's coming back after I started in again? It's bubbling, see the bubbles? So it's good to go. Now you can, once you put this in there, you can mix a little bit of it, take it out and do some by hand. I just assume I leave it in there and let it mix itself until it gets like almost a shiny consistency, elastic feel to it, so it stretches a little. Then I take it out. Okay, well, this yeast, you can smell it too. And with half of this dough, what I'm going to do is called a cold proof. I'm going to take half my dough today. After we do the focaccia bread, I'm going to take the other half and put it in a container and put it in the refrigerator. That's another one, but that one you take 1 or 2 days more when you just let it sit in the fridge, and it proofs some more. And supposed to taste better, you know, you can get more of a yeast taste out of it. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of foam up here, but we're gonna dump this in. We've waited our time long enough. Okay. Now on top of this, we're gonna be making the bread. So we're gonna add a little olive oil in there. Just a little, because it's good for you, but we're gonna do about a tablespoon. Okay. I know you guys didn't see that one, but okay, so down goes the dough hook into the mix. Lock it in place, and you put this on number 1 for right now. Let it go. And you're going to be mixing this dough for anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, maybe a little longer, depending on environmental factors and such. You know, you can be, if it's too warm out, if it's too cold out, it doesn't come together as quick. You might go out as far as 15 minutes. But what you want to do is beat this around with the thing. Even if you're doing it in a bowl by hand, you do it until all the dough pulls off around the edge of the bowl. Okay, so now everything's kind of mixed a little bit, but there's still a powdery dough on the edge. So I'm going to turn this up one more. It helps pull the stuff off the sides pretty quick. We'll show you that here. There you go. Just so you can see. Anyway, you let this go, see, and you think it's too dry. That's all the ingredients you saw right now is all I put in here. And it's going to pull it all together. See how it's pulling it away from the sides now? And before you know it, it's all going to be hooked up on the dough hook. It'll be just about done. But yep, that's all it takes. That's how easy that recipe is. It's just 1, 2, 3, bing, bang, boom, put it in there. You can mix it by hand. You can mix it with a dough hook. You can mix it with the electric mixer like this. Mix it with a spatula, mix it by hand. Hey, it's yours. Now, as we can see, there's no more dough or flour along the side of the bowl. So I just want to show you what this looks like right about now. And it's starting to do what we want. But when you pull it, see, it breaks apart real easy. So it's still too, not where we want it exactly, but it's getting close. So back in there. Like I said, you're going to do this, mix this for 8 to maybe 10 minutes, whatever. We've only been mixing it like 3 minutes, maybe. So we'll come back when it's where it's at, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so as you can see, the dough is actually nice and stringy all the way to the bottom here. And it'll come off the hook pretty close. Now, this is about 8 minutes, maybe 9. But this is where you want it to be. See how nice and elastic it is? We're going to try to scoop all of this out. If you have a plastic bench scraper, that's ideal. But look, see? Nice. Okay, so just roll this around my hand for a couple spins here. See, it's not sticking to me. It's nice and elastic. It's going to get even better as time goes on. But I'm stretching it and pulling, stretch, pull, and tucking it under. Now in here I've got a little bit of olive oil, if you guys can see that. I'm going to put that right in there. And what I'm doing is I'm flattening this out. I'm folding it over, just kneading it a little bit. And what this pulling is that's the gluten that's starting to form, see? Okay, so now we're going to let this rest for about an hour. We're going to cover this, and we're going to let it double in size before we use it again, before we play with it again. Okay? I'm going to cover this with some saran wrap of some sort. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let me rinse my hands here real quick. And you want to let that rise. Put it in hopefully your all you really need is the temperature of your house. But they have these proofing racks or whatever. They're big boxes that have a light little heat on them. I just use the oven, turn a light on in the oven, and that's that. I'm doing that right now. Okay, so let me get my wrap. I don't know if you guys use this, but this here, this press and seal, I love this stuff. It works good. Okay, so anyway, for the focaccia bread, when we make that later on, we're going to use more olive oil. But normally, if you're making just a regular loaf of bread or pizza dough or whatever, what I did just here, that's pretty much all you need. There's the end of it right there. Normally you need 2 pieces for this. But you want a big enough bowl too that where when it stretches, when the dough rises, I mean not stretches, I'm thinking about this stupid paper here. But when the dough rises, that you don't want it poking the paper. So don't ask me why, but that's what I was told a long time ago. And you can use just a plain dish towel, but if you like us, you got pets, even though you know it's clean, it still has pet hair on it. Oop. So, see what I got here? I'm gonna take that, cover it with a towel, and I am covering it with a towel. We already got the lid, all that's sealed up. And into the oven it goes. It's gonna go for about an hour, or until the dough has doubled inside. Now make sure your oven is not on. Some people put it in the microwave too. Okay, so what I want to show you before we sign off for let this stuff rise is a couple little tools here that you got. You got this, you got this. I wouldn't recommend this part, but in the beginning I guess it's okay. Okay, so oh yeah, let me get the old times method, huh? Okay, the old time method really is your hand, woohoo, of mixing the dough, okay? And what you would do is you put the dough in there and you make a little well at the bottom, pour your liquid in there and stuff. But anyway, then you can use this, the old time whisk, use it in the beginning. Then once it starts sticking to these little tines here, then you can't use it no more because it's hard to stir. Either use your hand or you can, this is called the Danish dough hook. And it looks weird, but it works really, really well. Even when the dough's really thick, it's easy to still continue to mix because it's one little wire. It cleans up easy. Or you have grandma's method with the old wooden spoon. Or you have the contemporary grandma way with the silicone spatula. Either one will work. I just like this one here. It's a lot easier on you. If you have it, why not use it? Doesn't take no time to clean it up. That's all I got to say about that. We're going to take a break. We'll be back when the first rise happens, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, time for the big reveal. Ta-da! Look at that. Tell me you guys saw what I put in there. Did that not double? I think it's close to triple. But anyway, let me turn my timer off before it starts beeping again. Okay, so now what we're going to do real fast, because my battery's going dead, we're going to turn this dough out. See, first we're going to punch it down. See how nice and airy it is here? See? So what you do is you poke it a couple times. How come it puffs up like that is the yeast and the sugar, they react in such a way that the yeast is gobbling up the sugar, and what happens is the byproduct of that is they blow CO2 out, carbon dioxide. And that's what makes the thing rise, and that's what gives you your little bubble holes in the bread, see? So what we're going to do here real fast is we're just gonna pull it over and push. Pull over, push. We're just gonna need it a couple times. And then we're gonna take it and put it back in the thing for another 20, 30 minutes. Let it rise one more time. Then the next time you see us, we'll be making some bread, see? Now this is what I want to show you. Look, see? See how you pull that? You can pull and pull. That's the gluten in there. See, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So anyway, I'm just going to fold this back up. Put it one more time into rise one more time. Right back in the same bowl. See what I'm doing? I'm just trying to make a little ball here. Okay? Just tucking the dough under and rolling it around. See it? And then we make a little ball. Place that little ball right back into the container. Still has a little oil left in there. I'm going to cover it up again. That's why I like using that reseal stuff. Take a towel here. Put it over there. We're going to do another 20 minutes or so. And then 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, there you have it. All right, guys, we'll be back in about another 20 minutes or so. Until then, go take a nap.